Hello dear audience, Grandmaster Shipov is in Elista commenting the games of the 3rd Grand Prix tournament. Today we'll take a look at all of the games that happened during round 8 and have a short commentary for all of them. So this is the first game that happened today, Shipov against Shipov. The Azerbaijani Grandmaster can't seem to get out of the drawing swamp. He fights, he risks, comes up with real scoring moments for both himself and his opponents, but the battles still end with a peace treaty. Looks like that's his fate for this tournament. In this game, Shipov had a small advantage from the very beginning till the end, but Shipov correctly defended and counterattacked. During the battle, there were many interesting opportunities that stayed behind. I'll show the small chance right here on the move 33, where instead of king f2, white should have played e4, and to the move g takes f3, would have played e5. If to the move e4, black would have played d takes e4, then f takes g4, e3 and h3, and the unlucky position of the king as well as the weakness of the black pawns could have played their role. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and even though Shahryar did move into the center a little bit later, Ernesto found a very good move right here, bishop h3, and made white play for a draw, as we see in this last few moves of this game. The next game that we're going to take a look at is Leko against Yakovenko. This was quite a disappointing game for the Hungarian Grandmaster. He easily achieved the wanted position after doing a very extensive home analysis, and then couldn't realize the advantage. Here, he played a very interesting novelty, a4 in the Rai Lopez. Yakovenko played smartly for some time, and white's position looks absolutely fantastic, until the move 19 with the blow. Here, black could have solved all of his problems with the move queen f6, and to knight takes b5. There's a very strong blow, knight f4. If to queen f6, bishop takes d5, and then again bishop takes d5, and knight takes b5, then there's the very strong counter blow, bishop takes g2, winning back the pawn. But after bishop c6, rook e5, we find out that in all variations, white takes the pawn and saves the initiative. For quite a while, it looked like Leko would win, but then on move 35, right here, he started running for the pawn f7. The banal move b5 would have been much better and would have left black any chances. Looks like Peter underestimated this move right here, queen c6, which created real threats for the white king. But as we know, trouble doesn't come alone. A new mistake, rook f4 followed, and at this point the chances for a win were only kept with the move queen f4, then queen g6, king f3, queen takes d3, and queen e3, and soon the black checks would have ended. But in the game, they continued endlessly, and therefore this game ended in a draw as well. The third game of this tournament is Kasimdzhanov against Akakan. This is one of the most difficult games where grandmasters played on a very high level, and the result of the battle was decided by the strategic holes in black's chosen variation. It's possible that it's a preference, but I really don't like the trade of the centralized knight in the move 16 right here. knight takes d2. It's good to check the immediate castle instead. But that didn't happen. The second important moment happened in move 19, the choice of capture right here. More dependable would have been c takes d5, but later it's very difficult to find a working counterplay for black. Looks like at this moment Vladimir was still very optimistic, but later it was found that White had a real plan of attack on the king's side, and Black, even though he was well centralized, had a hard time making anything happen. Looks like Akapan was a little late with the breakthrough of c6. Not a bad moment was on the move 22. Instead of rook g7 here, there was an interesting move c5. And rook g5, f4, with interesting and even more importantly dangerous for both sides complications. Well, after White took over the key spots in the center with the moves such as e4, bishop takes e4, knight c3, and knight e4, the result of the game was very much foreseeable.